Are you having a spiritual awakening? If so, you may be experiencing sudden shifts in your consciousness, which are now being transformed from the ordinary to the otherworldly. If you've been on the journey of self-discovery for a while now, you know that this awakening never truly ends. But whether you are just discovering spirituality for the first time, or consider yourself to be somewhat of a sage, today's video is going to help you understand the spiritual awakening through its many stages and archetypes, from the catalysts which led to your initial awakening to the moment of enlightenment. The 5 phases that I'm going to share with you to give a framework to the spiritual awakening are inspired by my own spiritual journey. However, we're also inspired by a blog post on lonerwolf.com, which I felt offered the most comprehensive format with which to explain the spiritual journey and the process of awakening, which I know that many subscribers of the Goddess Divine YouTube channel are. Which archetype or phase along the spiritual awakening journey are you on? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video if you like it, share it with anyone who you think might benefit, and subscribe. And turn on your notification bell so you never miss a video. Now, let's get into it. Phase 1. Initial awakening, the seeker. So at this stage, what causes one to get on the spiritual path can actually be a number of things. It could be a sudden realization that just happens upon you, a message that you receive from a higher power, or a newfound level of consciousness. This has been the case for many famous spiritualists and devotional beings throughout history, but can happen to anyone who is willing enough to receive at the exact right time that they are meant to. When you are receptive, there is a calling that happens from above, or you may experience this sudden calling over your life, causing your journey throughout this human experience to shift drastically for the better, hopefully forever. Once your eyes are opened, it's very hard to shut them. It's very difficult to erase such transcendental experiences, right? Such as a calling from above. For others, their initial awakening could be from a series of questioning, a longing for a deeper truth of our existence, which leads them down a quest of knowledge and truth-seeking. There is a remembrance in one's soul of what it is to experience a higher form of being. There is a yearning from deep within your heart for a higher experience of life. For a select few, their initial awakening happens through a fall from grace, out of which arises the need for hope, or to derive some form of meaning from their experience. Large amounts of expansion are created through this process of hitting rock bottom, and from there climbing your way up and reaching for the light. For these people, their healing journey will oftentimes be intertwined with their spiritual growth. Phase 2 is spiritual guidance, the apprentice. At this point in your journey, you are venturing further down the rabbit hole to discover more of what there is to discover. This is a really excitable time in the spiritual awakening because there's nowhere else to go but up. There's only more that you can learn and experience, and you find that the knowledge that you gain is the key which unlocks the door to your awareness. You find these keys through your study, through new experiences. You are now gravitating toward experiences that elevate your awareness. You may also be seeking guidance from spiritual teachers and mentors through documentaries, travel, YouTube videos, spiritual tools and practices, and perhaps even leaning toward new age experiences as well. I know that for me personally, yoga and meditation were at the top. Seeking higher purpose and becoming certified as a Reiki healer was the most transformative point in my journey, and this aided not only my own spiritual journey and healing, but also allowed me to step into a new role as a healer and a business owner. So my entire relationship to money changed as well. My career trajectory was completely shaped by my experience and stepping on my path that I believe was laid out for me by spirit, and caused me to meet other healers, other entrepreneurs who were building their life's work centered around spirituality, and inspire others through my healing journey and healing practice. So overall, it's a really exciting time and has the potential to recreate your entire existence. The spiritual awakening journey can be very internal. This point along the spiritual awakening can be characterized by the hermit as well, as you are doing a lot of inner work in terms of finding ways to raise and sustain this joyful presence and loving state of being and connection to that higher power. However, in time, this phase may also lead you to, again, build that community, which leads us to phase 3, facing your shadow, the warrior. At this point along the spiritual awakening journey, you realize that there is inner work that must be done in order to unveil more of your true self. This process is continual, it is ever evolving, and may become a part of your daily practice. Eventually, you do come down and are having to balance all of your negative, low vibrating emotions with your higher energetic states of being, right? So you're getting triggered, you're cycling out of old emotions, processing old baggage, cord cutting, setting boundaries, shame spiraling, but continuing to rise up to meet yourself where you're at every single time, holding space for that person who perhaps never had the space to even feel their emotions, for the person who never had that support before. This is also commonly referred to as the dark night of the soul, where you meet the parts of you that are unhealed, right, from that initial phase before your spiritual journey, which led to your initial awakening. Those who partake in spiritual work will have to face their shadow regularly as they show up for others and show up in the world with their high levels of compassion as they hold space for those around them. Holding space for others' lack of awareness can be quite difficult and a painful process as well. Eventually, you will come to the realization that other people are a reflection of your internal world, and that to truly embody oneness or believe in the concept that we are all one being, one body of thought, one soul, then taking other people as a part of you is going to prove to be difficult, as there are literal billions of people on the planet. As a warrior, a spiritual warrior along the awakening journey. Phase 4, the empowered self, the mystic. At this point in the spiritual awakening, you are discovering your spiritual powers, okay? You're experiencing being able to wield energy and bend reality to your will. You may be undergoing a third eye awakening, developing your intuition and practicing manifestation. Your internal reality is becoming externalized, and you're learning to integrate your inner and outer worlds. Soon enough, there becomes less and less of a separation between the two, and you are now becoming a more evolved being, right? Who has that conscious awareness that there is more to reality than meets the eye. You have an incredibly deep bond with higher power at this point in time, and you are finding your place in the world. You may be experiencing more synchronicities, angel messages, finding feathers, and the like. And as you discover more and more of your strength and supernatural abilities, there's a really strong need as well for there to be balance that is struck between your mental and energetic bodies, between your spiritual life and your physical reality as well. Some pitfalls to the mystic are becoming sort of self-possessed, becoming possessed by one's hunger for power or thirst for knowledge, which causes selfishness or spiritual ego to arise. It is common to feel as though you know it all, that there's nothing perhaps left to learn. This can also stunt your growth and perhaps even cause greater separation between you and others. This can be quite an isolating experience. Again, that feeling of separation between you and others may cause those feelings of loneliness to arise, and you may forget once again that you are a part of a larger whole, a larger collective. Somewhat of a void can arise from this phase in the spiritual awakening as well, because when you look down upon others, no one can ever meet you where you're at, and it makes it harder for others to reach you. Phase 5 of the spiritual awakening is ego death. The sage. At this point in the spiritual awakening journey, a more profound spiritual experience occurs where you are not just intellectualizing the concept of oneness, but you experience yourself as one with the energy that surrounds you, with all beings and the entire universe. This can be brought about by experiences working with higher chakras and visualizing the light body, creative visualization, or deep meditative states of being, and even plant medicine. Here you realize that there is no separation. You are not the body, you are not the mind, but the eternal spirit. Some pitfalls of this stage, however, is that it can be hard to maintain because we are also not just the spirit. So there's this endless process, right, of dying to yourself to be reborn again. Now you are integrating this spirit. You are not just one with your soul, you are not just one with your body, you are not just one with your mind, but you are one with your spirit, and having to hold many different realities and dimensions of your experience. Try going about your daily life after experiencing an ego death. It is common to fall back into old patterns of thought, struggling to implement all that we learned in this ultimate state of being and the messages that we receive from this state. Perhaps over time, we forget the experience altogether, preferring instead to live a simple day-to-day experience. For some, perhaps that is more suitable, and to prefer that experience is more than valid. Perhaps it is that experience of life which is most natural. But no matter what phase you find yourself in along the spiritual journey, know this: to fully embrace every stage that you're in is the ultimate state of being. The journey is not always linear and is not even a straight path. Along the way, you're allowed to turn around. You're allowed to sit on the side and take a break, or go on a detour. The spiritual journey is allowed to be lighthearted, although sometimes it is very immediate, and needing to move forward can be the difference between life or death, or seem that way anyway, especially for those doing more intense healing work. Remember, it is okay to be right where you are, as the seeker, as the apprentice, the warrior, the mystic, and the sage. Every phase has its purpose, which is to serve our ultimate awakening, and this path has been uniquely carved out for you. So there's no need for comparison, because we are all individuals with our own experiences of life. If you are looking for ways to gain more spiritual knowledge, book a reading or a healing session. You can also follow us on our other social media accounts. Or of course, watch more videos in the description below. It is an honor to assist you along your spiritual path. Until next week.